The water freedom system will completely change our world. Hi, my name is Chris Burns. And today, in this short video, I'll tell you a life-changing story about how I figured out how to easily create an automated supply of the freshest, high-quality clean water you've ever tasted for pennies on the dollar. I'm talking about a simple invention that can be used by any family around the world to make safe, clean and cool drinking water out of thin air, even in the desert. Over the past year, over 11,000 people have also already successfully used the very same technique to get over tragic milestones, such as hurricanes, snowstorms or floods. Based on technology that's already in use by the military from countries including Israel, India, the UK and the US, not only can it give up to 60 gallons of water per day to last through the centuries-long drought NASA is predicting it's right around the corner, but it can ameliorate your utility bills all year long. I'm sure you're already intrigued and you want to know all about how this system works. Honestly, it's like nothing you've ever seen, and in a few minutes from now you'll be outraged you've put your family's life in the hands of FEMA, the government, and the greedy water corporations that make the cards these days. So you absolutely need to watch this short presentation today, while it's still up. I don't know how much longer I'll have this free presentation online, so watch this right now, while you still can. If you are interested in buying the product, then check out the link in description box. You will get a lot of discount. Before we continue, let me tell you who I am, and how it all started. As I mentioned before, my name is Chris Burns. I'm a 57-year-old farmer, and I live near Fresno City with my wife and 2 daughters. Folks who live here know that water shortages due to droughts in the area are somehow of an issue, and we have been fighting them for years. And we've never liked how our officials are handling the situation by introducing laws that force us to cut our usage, or by raising the prices for something everybody should afford. Like having a clean, non-disturbed water supply without restriction. However, we simply settled thinking that's the economy, or maybe it'll be better next year, month after month struggling not to fall behind on bills. All that until the spring of 2014, May 16th, Wednesday. The absolute worst day of my life. We were entering our 3rd year of drought, a recurring nightmare for those old enough to remember the prolonged dry period of 1987 to 1991 and the disaster of 1976 and 1977, the previous record-setting drought. But this time it was different. Without help from the heavens, 2014 will be the last year before my family will begin to go bankrupt. Due to the severe drought, I was forced to leave hundreds of acres unplanted because there is simply no water for my crops. Moreover, the State Water Project announced for the first time in its 54-year history that it would deliver no water, and we would have to get by with water from other sources, such as the Colorado River, groundwater, and the little left in their reservoirs. And I was expecting zero allocation from the federal Central Valley Project, which delivers water to farmers through 500 miles of canals. However, I thought I was prepared: solar electricity, solar hot water, and we even had our own well. If you are interested in buying the product, then check out the link in description box. You will get a lot of discount. Big mistake. 3 years ago our well totally dried out. I didn't really panic because I still had a 600 gallons water stockpile that I saved as an emergency reserve, to last enough for my family while we dig a new well. A few nights after I submitted our permit application for our new well, I heard some noises coming from my backyard. I took my gun and hurried outside to see what happened. And what I saw made me freeze in my tracks. There were some men loading our water stockpile into their truck. They weren't looking to break into our house or searching for valuable stuff like gold, money, and electronics. They just wanted our water supply. I was ready to shoot right then and there, yet before I could even aim my gun I felt the cold barrel of a rifle pressed upon the back of my head. There was nothing I could do. You can't imagine how I felt not being able to protect my family. And then the next morning when my little Joan came to me and said, "Daddy, I'm thirsty," I immediately burst in tears. It was the most devastating moment of my life. I felt like my world collapsed. I felt powerless because there was nothing I could do to protect the ones I cared for most. It was the moment I realized I was at the end of my rope. I swore to myself I'd never put my wife and 2 daughters in a similar situation again. I don't want to sound preachy about it, but ask yourself, what happens if the drought continues? What are we going to turn into? Are there going to be killings over a sip of water? Humanity is already on the verge of dehumanization due to hard times that continue to weaken all of us. Listen, The drought so far left unchangeable consequences, and there are no signs that it would get better. Water is rapidly becoming the new oil, and people are starting to look at water much like a new gold rush. The situation has grown so dire that the U.S. Office of the Director of National Intelligence now ranks water scarcity as a major threat to national security alongside terrorism. This means that every year, competition for a clean, copious supply of water for drinking, cooking, bathing, and sustaining life intensifies. Sadly, the competitors include thieves, big corporations, and even our government. Yet, how did we get in this life-threatening situation? The first reason is that most of us take water completely for granted. If you are interested in buying the product, then check out the link in description box. You will get a lot of discount. We tend to think of water only as it's coming out of our tap in the morning, when we are brushing our teeth or washing vegetables or whatever. But, in fact, water is embedded in everything we use and buy and do throughout the day. Your morning shower takes 17 gallons of water, and growing the coffee beans for your cup of joe took upwards of 34 gallons, and it takes 13 gallons of water to generate 1 gallon of gas. Before lunch, you've used up thousands of gallons of water. This water, which often goes largely unseen, is called virtual water. What gets forgotten is that virtual water is as real as the water you drink. There is basically the same amount of fresh water on Earth as there always has been.